You were given to a children's home, and then what happened?
I was put there because my parents couldn't cope, and it was clearly an issue.
I know I'm not good enough because...
Sorry, makes me cry.
The interesting thing from a child's perspective, if the people who are supposed to love you don't appear to love you, for whatever reason, you don't stop loving them, you immediately stop loving yourself. And you must never let your past define you. Kristin, come on. I was really interested by something you said, that it's arrogant to love yourself. So tell me first about that. Why do you think it's arrogant to love yourself?
I know it's not true, but it's like a voice or a belief in myself. I think it has to do with my family. When I was a child, everybody was jealous of me and thought I had no problems, but I managed to solve them myself. But it's very strange. I follow your RTT course for a hypnotherapist, and I was very positive also about myself, but I don't know where it gets from.
Well, let's find out. Do you have children of your own?
Yes, I have two beautiful children.
How old are they?
Nearly 20 and 16.
And you know, when your babies are little, they just love themselves. They love their bodies. They can play happily with their fingers or toes for ages. So as a mother, I can't imagine you would tell your children, don't love yourself, don't get joy in jumping in a puddle, or don't.
No, I don't.
So this must have come from your own parents. So tell me what you know about how they raised you. There was you, mum and dad. Who else?
My younger brother also had a half-sister. Yeah. But she didn't live with us. She was from a previous marriage from my father. She lived with his mother, but when
Who was jealous of you? So you had an older sister, half sister, who didn't live with you, but I'm taking she came to visit. Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
And you said people were jealous of you. Who was jealous of you in particular? Who was jealous of you and why?
My sister, I think, because I had the youth she wanted.
And the father she wanted, because he lived with you and not her.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. So how did she express her jealousy of you?
It was more a feeling, and she expressed it also several times to me.
Mm. So when you're growing up with someone who doesn't like you, doesn't appear to like you, then all a child can ever do when they feel not liked is to believe they're not worthy of being liked. So the interesting thing from a child's perspective, if the people who are supposed to love you don't appear to love you, for whatever reason, you don't stop loving them, you immediately stop loving yourself. So when you were that little girl and your sister showed you didn't like you would think, oh, what's wrong with me that she doesn't like me? You'd never think what's wrong with her. What's wrong with her is I've got all our father's attention and she hasn't. Because up until the age of 5, you don't have any logic, only feeling. So you would feel, my big sister doesn't like me, what's wrong with me? Of course, the real question is what's wrong with her, but a child can't ask that. So that's where you began to believe you weren't worthy of love. What's your relationship like with her now?
I don't see her anymore because she also was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Okay, so not only was she didn't like you, she had some mental health problems too.
Yes.
So you feel it's arrogant to love yourself. You also said you've got too much success. Tell me about the too much success and love that you already have. So what is it and how is it too much?
Yes, I always had good grades and I was always laughing. And there were a lot of people who told me they were jealous of me.
I'm still interested in this too much love and too much success. What do you have that's too much? Most of us are worried about not having enough. What have you got that's too much? You said you've got too much love and too much success.
No, not anymore. But in the past, there were also people of my class who said this, you have too much.
So what you've done is a very classical thing. You've modified your behavior for other people. So when you're a dependent child, which we dependent means I depend on my mom and my dad, people at school to like me. When we're dependent, we modify a bit. Like, for instance, if your dad was a night watchman and had to sleep all day, you'd modify your need to run around the house shouting because you think, oh, that upsets me, I got to be quiet. So all children are going to modify the behavior to fit in. We're tribal people inside, and we have a driver that says, I need to find connection, avoid rejection. And I think because you had a mentally ill sister who was already jealous of you, learned to dumb everything down, to pretend you had less. And that makes perfect sense, because in a family where someone doesn't like you, it can be a horrible feeling. But the thing is, you don't live with her now. You know she's mentally ill. You know that the universe that put you wants you to have everything. And in fact, you having more doesn't mean someone else has less, unless you're taking a massive piece of cake. So I want you to look at little you and go, okay, little me, I dumbed down my behavior to fit in. But I don't need to do that anymore. That isn't you. So I want you to think of a scene where your sister was mean to you and there's other people said you got too much. And I want you to say out loud, but that's not mean because, and I want you to finish that. So think of a scene where people said you've got too much and where your sister made it very clear she was jealous of you. And then I want you to say, thinking of that scene, but that's not me anymore because.
That's not me anymore because I'm now grown up and I have my own life.
You've got what I call the luggage of life. It's like you've got a big backpack you're wearing. It's got all this stuff from your sister and people at school who are jealous of you. And, you know, often people are jealous of don't actually have this great. I think, oh, you've got nice clothes, you've got a nice house. They're really, I mean, I literally lived in a house with a white picket fence, but inside, it looked lovely on the outside, but it was a real melting pot of chaos in there. But it looked wonderful on the outside. But you have to decide now, okay, I modified my behavior because I needed to please my sister. I needed to please older kids at school who were jealous, but I don't need to do that anymore because that's the truth, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So now I want you to say, I self-sabotage because, and I want to see what ending you put on that. I self-sabotage because.
I self-sabotage because I think I'm not worthy of love.
And that comes from my sister. Say that.
And that comes from my sister.
Who is mentally ill.
Who is mentally ill.
I'm letting a mentally ill person ruin my life. I'm allowing a mentally ill person's thinking to ruin my whole life.
I'm allowing a mentally ill person to ruin my life.
And my son's life too.
And my son's life too.
Because when you have an unhappy mother, it makes them less happy. All your children want is for you to be blissfully happy. So you're allowing someone who wasn't very well, you're allowing her thoughts of you, which are based on being ill, to impact your life. And some people at school who didn't know you. And then you can say, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. Isn't that true?
Indeed, yes, it is.
Because the truth is, it will never again be relevant or necessary or interesting or even appropriate for you to ever again think or act like a little girl who lives with an older sister who doesn't like her. The truth is your older sister couldn't like you because she was unwell and she didn't like herself. And, you know, happy people are benevolent. They go, well done you. So unhappy people are critical. So anyone at school who said you got too much, critical people don't like themselves. They have the most criticism reserved for themselves. Your choice now is, when I was a kid, I let all that in, but now I'm not going to let it in. Now it's going to go over my head. You don't have to let it in anymore, do you?
No.
Because when you're little, the most important words come from mum, dad, teacher, friends, siblings. As an adult, the most important words you'll ever hear come from you. So now you can change all of that and say, I owe it to myself and my son to live a great life and to not sabotage myself because other people who I thought didn't like me didn't know me. You see, if someone really knew you, wouldn't they like you?
Yes.
You look like a very good person. You've got a lovely open face, probably a beautiful heart because you care so much. So if you have those qualities, if anyone knew you, wouldn't they be unable to not like you because you've got a good heart and you're kind? And no one is saying, let me mess up your life except for you. And today you can say, if to know me is to like me, if you don't like me, you don't know me. That's your loss. It's not mine. Isn't that true?
Yes, it's true, but I find it difficult to say. Yes.
You don't find it difficult. You know what you find it? You find it unfamiliar. Let's say it now. I want you to know me is to like me. Just say it. To know me is to like me.
To know me is to like me.
If you don't like me,
If you don't like me,
then you don't know me.
then you don't know me.
Because to know me is to like me.
Because to know me is to like me.
I want you to say that 4 times. I just want you to make it familiar, because people say this is difficult. It's not difficult. It's what I call unfamiliar and unknown. But we're going to make it familiar. And I want you to say 4 times. To know me is to like me.
To know me is
If you don't like me, you don't know me.
to know me is to like me. If you don't like me, you don't know me.
Okay.
To know me is to like me. If you don't like me, you don't know me. To know me is to like me. If you like me, you don't know me. To know me is to like me. If you don't like me, you don't know me.
And how does that feel?
It feels good.
And all you have to do is to make, that's your job, to make it familiar. The brain wants to go back to what's familiar while going away from what's unknown. The brain wants to go back to what it knows while avoiding what it doesn't know. That's a fact. But here's a better fact. You can make anything you like familiar. I'm a good, lovable person. To know me is to like me. If you don't like me, then you don't know me. And that's your loss. So you've got to keep saying it. You know what will happen? It will sink in the way butter sinks into hot toast. Hot toast can't go, hey, let me reject that butter. It's not organic. I don't like it. If you put butter on toast, it has to sink in. And words will sink in. And our job is to upgrade our words and our thoughts and our beliefs all the time. You're a beautiful person. You have children who love you. And your job now is to go, I love me.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what those people did then, because I'm not that dependent child and I'll never be that person again. So keep in touch. But I want you to say this 10 times a day, 5 times in the morning.
Okay.
In the shower, 5 times when you're getting ready for bed. To know me is to love me. And if you don't love me, you don't know me. To know me is to like me. And after a while, the mind will go, oh, here you go again. That must be true. You say so much and it will sink in. And then as it sinks in, it will replace the other stuff, which is to know me, you might not like me. How could anyone not like you? You're a beautiful person.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome, darling. And I think you probably helped a lot of people here too, who also learned to play small because of a sister, brother, someone at school who didn't like them. And we can't change that, but we can change the fact we're still playing small. We don't even know where those people are anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you so much. You've helped a lot of people on this call today.
Thanks very much, too. You're welcome.
Thank you, darling. Keep in touch. Send me an email. Let me know how you are. And let's go on to our next person, please. Hey, Jane. Lovely to meet you. So first of all, tell me, if you wouldn't mind, how do you play small? What do you do to play small?
Hi, first of all, hi. Nice to meet you. Playing small is not sharing what I really want to share in my business, in who I really am. I feel very insecure. And yeah, that actually.
Okay, so I want you to do something that is so helpful. The word because is the most influential word in the entire English language. I want you to say, I don't share my gifts because, and just see whatever comes on it. Don't think about it. Just pretend you're playing Chinese whispering. Say, I don't share my gifts because, just say it.
I don't share my gifts because I'm not good enough.
And I know I'm not good enough because
I don't have enough value.
Say that again. I know I'm not good enough because, say the whole sentence. I know I'm not good enough because.
Start makes me cry because it doesn't feel good. I know I'm not good enough because I don't have a lot of value.
And if you had the value, if you did have that value, where would you have got it from? You said you don't have enough value. The value you need, where would it come from? Where would you get it? If you had it, where would you have got it from?
From myself.
Yeah. So why have you not got it? If you know that you could get it from yourself, what's stopping you?
I think it's maybe it has to do something with my childhood. Maybe to explain a little bit. Actually, 2 things. I had very bad skin problems when I was around 15 years old, like acne. It's very like that I'm sharing this for thousands of people or maybe hundreds of people. but I'm still like managing to have a better understanding about who I am, and that I'm not my skin. I'm not my skin. I'm who I am from the inside. And also I had difficulties with learning and remembering things because I had a brain issue. My two brains were not communicating on a very young age, and my parents didn't know what was happening. I couldn't remember things. I couldn't learn, so I got homeschooled. And then when I was 10, I went to a doctor, a very special doctor, and he said, yeah, your brains are not working together, but you're a smart kid because you learned your own way about feeling emotions and reading people's body language. And that's the way I learned myself. And then I get the medication, and then it went better. And then eventually I went to school and I did a study. But I always felt like I was not smart. I was dumb and ugly and not good enough.
But a lot of us carry with us, it's like we've got a bag stuffed with this stuff and we're carting it around. And who you were as a child is not you. They often say are beautiful children, they're a rose that blooms too soon. It's like Shirley Temple, who was a beautiful child, was a very ordinary adult. And other kids who are very ordinary looking become stunning adults. And we look at them and think, wow, you look like that as a kid with those goofy teeth. And so who you are as a child isn't you. The problem is, as a child, our need to belong is so profound that it can scar us. I went to my own father. My own father was a principal or head teacher. I went to his school, and I couldn't have felt more like an ugly, freaky kid, because that's really not a good idea to have your father be the head teacher, but it was in a little village in Cambridge. And so it would have been too difficult to send me somewhere else. But I know what that's like to feel different. And once you feel different, it becomes the bane of your life. The ugly kid, the only kid who's poor in a rich school, the rich kid in a poor school, the first kid to get breasts, the glasses or freckles. There's never-ending ways for us to feel like a dumb, ugly kid. But the truth is, you are a stunningly beautiful woman. And who you were then isn't you. So I want you to do what my last person did, what Kirsten did. I want you to say, that's not me anymore, because I want you to say I thought I was a dumb, ugly kid. Just say, I thought I was a dumb, ugly kid.
I thought I was a dumb, ugly kid.
And that's not me anymore, because...
And that's not me anymore, because...
Tell me why that isn't you anymore.
I found it really hard to say.
I'm going to help you. I want you to say, I have gorgeous skin. Just say, I have gorgeous skin. This is hard. Again, it's just because it's not familiar. All it is, darling, is you've spent so long saying horrible things, and saying horrible things is easy for you, it's easy for you to say, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. And it's hard for you to say, God, look at me. I've got beautiful hair, beautiful teeth, big blue eyes, a gorgeous smile. I'm amazing. And isn't that sad that it's easy for you to say bad things and very hard for you to say negative things?
Yeah.
You talked a minute ago about your self-image. The way to raise your self-image and your self-worth like that is to praise yourself. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on.
No, I think it's beautiful that you say that. Yeah. And I also do this a lot of times. And as I always said, like, I really want to see like what other people see, because I also was asking myself, do I have any like evidence that I'm really ugly or that I'm not smart? And I was looking for evidence, and I could find maybe just a little bit of evidence, but not a lot. So I'm constantly like repeating, I don't have enough evidence, and people are still acting normal and acting nice. So you're not ugly, or you're not bad, or you're not smart or dumb. But there's something. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're saying there's something.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the edge of letting it go, but every time I fall, when I want to jump and like let it all go, it's something is holding me back. And I don't know. I really don't know what it is.
be a fear of disappointment. It's a fear of, what if I say all these things and nothing changes? What if I say all these things and the world still says, oh no, you're not that at all. You've got horrible skin and you're stupid. But the world is never going to say that. And if they did, it wouldn't matter, because the most important words are not what the world says, it's what you say. But let me help you, and anyone in the audience can do this too. Close your eyes right now. And just, I want you to imagine going back and finding you when you were just a 1-year-old baby. I want you to go back in time and see this beautiful little baby. I want you to literally put your arms around this little baby. And I want you to keep your eyes closed and go, look at you. Just say after me, even if it feels silly, it doesn't matter. I would say, look at you, look at you. You're the most gorgeous, perfect little baby. Just say that, look at you.
Look at you.
You're the most gorgeous, perfect little baby.
You're just the most gorgeous, beautiful baby.
Got the biggest blue eyes.
With the biggest blue eyes.
Got a perfect smile.
With a perfect smile.
And you're going to grow up and be the most beautiful adult.
You're, sorry?
And grow up.
And you grow up as
Be a beautiful woman.
As a beautiful woman.
With still those big blue eyes.
With still those blue eyes.
Perfect teeth.
Perfect teeth.
Beautiful hair.
Beautiful hair.
Wonderful skin.
Wonderful skin.
And a big, beautiful heart.
And a big, beautiful heart.
What would you like to say to that little baby that you're holding in your arms, the child version of you is going to grow up in the world? What would you like to say to her? I'm a loving parent of that little baby. What would you say?
Like, look at you. You're so gorgeous. You're so beautiful. And I love you.
Say that again. Look at you. You're gorgeous.
Look at you. You're gorgeous. I love you.
And I love you as a baby.
And I love you as a baby.
And I love you as an adult woman.
And I love you as an adult woman.
Because you're still beautiful.
Because you're still beautiful.
Still gorgeous.
So gorgeous.
So lovable.
So lovable.
You've got a beautiful heart.
You've got a beautiful heart.
You understand what it feels like to be left out and different.
You understand. I'm sorry.
You understand what it feels like.
You understand what it feels like.
Left out and different.
Left out and different.
That's not you anymore.
That's not you anymore.
You're a beautiful woman.
You're a beautiful woman.
Got everything.
You got everything.
You can have everything.
You can have everything.
And again, I want you to imagine if you just made this a ritual of every day when you wake up in the morning, before you get up, you put your arms on that little girl and say, look at you. You're beautiful. Look at those big blue eyes, gorgeous hair, perfect skin, wonderful smile, and all the stuff you've learned. If you started to say that every day, it would sink in. You see, you're looking for proof, but you are the proof. You're the proof that we can get over the most terrible things that happen in our childhood, being slighted, being rejected, being abandoned. You see, if your life was a massive clock, your childhood is really only the first 6 minutes. You've got another 54 minutes to live an amazing life. So sometimes our childhood can be horrible and sucky and not great at all, but it's just the first bit. You've got the whole world in front of you to live a great life. And when you raise your self-worth and your self-worth, you know what happens? The world joins you at the level you've raised it to. They don't raise it, well, you do it. But when you raise your sense of self-worth, the world will see you at a higher level. So it's your job, and it's good it's your job because you can do it better than anyone else in the whole world.
Yeah, because I know what I need and what I need to hear. And yeah.
Tell me what you need.
Yeah. Beautiful.
You need to hear the words. Yeah.
Wow.
You need to hear the words. Beautiful. You know, maybe you could see, you know, someone's having a song like that great song. I think it was from One Direction. That's what makes you beautiful, or you're beautiful to me.
Oh.
Having a little song and playing it to yourself is a good thing because, again, it sinks in. It's like if you put lotion on dry skin, it sinks in, doesn't it? Because lotion is a balm for dry skin, but words are balm for a dry soul. So you need to think of a song you love and just sing it to yourself. I'm a beautiful woman. I'm beautiful. I finally clicked today why I'm down on myself. It's just a memory. I had bad skin. I thought, but so do many, many teenage kids. And I thought I wasn't smart, and so do thousands, hundreds of thousands of teenage kids. But the truth is I'm beautiful and smart And that's just the stuff that's behind me. It's like the water in the shower. You can't go home and go, where's that water in the shower I had this morning? I want to collect it because the water is gone. Up there, you can't find it. You can pull up the plumbing, but you're never going to find it.
No.
You can't say, where's the exhaust from the Uber I took home? Because, well, it's gone. It's like the ether in a plane. But the same thing is gone. The feelings you felt as a child, different, dumb, and ugly, they are gone. And even if you ran back to your childhood to collect them, you can't because they're in the past, they're behind you. There's something you used to have a long time ago that cannot and will not influence you or interest you ever again. And you must never let your past define you.
That's definitely true.
Let me tell you one more thing. Imagine I have a bow and arrow. Your bit where you felt ugly and had bad skin is the bow, but you're the arrow. When you fire an arrow, it goes forwards and people go, where's the arrow? And they run, nobody goes, where's the bow? The bow, it doesn't matter. It's like, how far has the arrow gone? How straight did it go?
Yeah.
So the skin, the bad skin you had, which you don't have now, and the time when your brain wasn't working the way you wanted it to, that's the bow, but you're the arrow, and the arrow is going so far and so straight and so fast, and we only care about the arrow. Nobody cares about the bow. We don't go back to see where it is, where it was dropped. Everyone runs to see where they are. They mark the arrow. No one ever marks the bow. So remember, your past is the bow, but you're a beautiful, sleek, fast, swift, impressive arrow, and you're going far. And the bow isn't coming with you because it never does.
Wow, that's a beautiful metaphor.
Thank you.
I
You're
love
beautiful too.
Oh, thank you so much.
I think you helped so many people today. I think you helped a lot of people in being open and vulnerable, because the basis of all friends is we love people who share our vulnerabilities. If you poll 9,000 kids, all say, I felt ugly, I felt stupid, I felt fat. So when you can share that, people like you not less, they like you more.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the only thing that I really wanted to say, is that I think this was a really step for me, like way out of my comfort zone, to really acknowledge I had bad skin. And so I'm happy that I just shared it.
Thank you so much. And you look radiant now. You look lovely. It's like all that stress has already left your face. You look amazing. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. Thank you for sharing that. Sending you lots too. Thank you. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Marisa. Thank you so much.
Tell me, you were given to a children's home, and then what happened? Were you adopted?
No, I wasn't adopted. I was put there because my parents couldn't cope with me. So I was a very poorly baby.
And how long did you stay in this children's home?
10 days, because I was so distressed that I held my breath, and I had something called petit mal, which went on. And it was clearly an issue, but...
Of course. So what happened when you left the children's home? So your parents put you there. They couldn't cope with your illness. You were so traumatized by being separated from them that you held your breath. And they do that very well. And that was, you managed to terrify everyone, including yourself. So that's that bit. But what happened next?
So that behavior continued with the chaos in my home. So whenever there was too much going on, I would have a fit.
Yeah.
Basically, I understand now, Marisa, that was my way of actually showing the outside world what was happening behind closed doors. And whilst I have the cognitive understanding of that, I still don't feel worthy.
Could it be possible that they did that because they loved you so much and wanted you to live and just felt inequipped to help you?
Yeah, it's very possible. The thing is, it was never spoken about.
You see, if they didn't care, they wouldn't have taken you to that orphanage. If they didn't care, they go, look, she can't breathe. Who cares? She'll work it out. The fact that they took you there, but then they came and got you back, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they took you there and they left you, but then they came back and got you. So what they really did is they gave you to the care of someone who thought could do a better job than they could.
I think
go on.
I think that's like a big issue for me anyway, because I always felt like I was too much. So whenever it was it was just easier for my mother to go, you deal with her,
Yeah.
and you deal with her. And she wouldn't take responsibility. And I think that's the biggest thing. Even though I may have achieved things in my life, I feel like I'm so stuck right now. And yeah,
because you're stuck, because you're playing this, we play the only problem my parents gave me up. If you reframe that to actually, they just didn't know how to raise me. They hadn't got good enough parenting skills. So people often say I come from a broken home. And the truth is, you're not broken, but the way your parents raised you was. You're not even damaged, but you came from a family that had some damage, but you're not damaged, you're not broken. And you have to reframe this whole thing and say, I came from some parents who weren't very good, but you know what? I made it against all the odds. Here I am. You're resilient. Human beings think they're weak. They're powerful beyond belief because against all the odds, you're here. So how would you like your life to look from now on if you could choose it? What would you like it to look like?
I would like to have inner confidence in my abilities because I have achieved things and I can do things, and yet I feel like I can't. It's like imposter syndrome.
80% of women have that. So you're in very good company. 80% of women, 40% of men have imposter syndrome. How do you improve that? You start to say every day, I'm really good at IT. I'm really good at talking to my friends. I'm good at listening, whatever it is. I'm good at cooking. My little girl said to me once, Mummy, you're not very good at cooking, but you're very good at mopping up sick. And I thought that was so funny. I wasn't saying I'd made her sick, but she would point at, Mummy, you're very good at mopping up sick. Mummy, she would say to me once, Mummy, you're a very clever biscuit, aren't you? Because I tell you, you're such a smart cooking. She said, Mummy, you're not good at that, but you're very good at this. So you want to be a master of one trade and not a jack of all trades. So what are you good at? What makes your heart sing? What do you love?
What do I love? I'm a photographer, actually. I love
And you love
children.
that.
I love to be around, especially these new young children that are coming through. I love to be around them.
And is that your career? You're a photographer?
Yeah, I'm a photographer, yeah. Well, I did a master's, so yeah.
So then that's what you have to say. My gift is photography, and I can capture so much with my camera. They say a picture tells 1,000 words, and you love children. Maybe you could think, could I take photos and put together a book on a developing child? I have a book I love by a guy called Lennart Nilsson called Life, and he's just taken pictures of an embryo all the way through. It's the most beautiful book. But I wonder how you could make your life better. You love taking photos and you love children. How could you combine that and create something amazing that would make you proud? What could you do?
I have no idea, and this is it. Like, I feel completely and utterly stuck right now.
Okay, and I'm going to help the whole people listening in too, because I want you to answer these questions. In answering these questions, this is a key to your unique gift. So the first question is, between the age of 7 and 14, what did you love to do? What engrossed you and captivated? What did you love doing between even 5 and 15? What did you love?
I love to dance. I became a professional ballerina.
Dancing was your absolute love.
Yeah.
Okay. What else did you love as well as dancing that made your heart sing and gave you a great sense of self?
I love to be alone. And I think that's partly because of like the ASD bit of me. I would love cycling on my own, going into nature, anything to escape from being at home.
So you love to escape. If you won the lottery tomorrow and never had to work again ever, the rest of your entire life, you had enough money to live forever. Apart from traveling, what would be the thing that you do if you suddenly have so much money you never had to work again?
If I never had to work, I would like technology to be able, this is like a dream that's beyond. I would love technology to access people's third eye screen, enabled to make images in analog film of their awakening.
And how much would it cost you to create that?
It would probably be millions and millions to get the technology to be able to do that.
Here's another question. If you discovered you only had a year to live, you're in no pain, but you only had a year left on the planet, what would be, apart from traveling again, what would you do with that year?
Oh my God, it would have to be travel.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to see the world. That's it. I love visiting countries and learning about culture and the fair and everything. I absolutely love.
Okay. Just a couple more questions. What have you always wanted to do but held back from because of the fear of getting wrong? What's something you've always wanted to do but fear has held you back?
Change the mental health system.
Mm-hmm. And how would you like to do that?
Make people aware that psychiatry is, they charlatans.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually said that to one psychiatrist, and he told me I was schizophrenic. And I said, well,
in my language. Finally, what's something that you do that gives you immense joy? What's something that you do that when you do it, you know you feel so good about yourself?
something I do.
You do.
Walking with music in my ears and dancing and spinning, and when nobody's watching, because when people have seen me, in my joy doing that, they've told me or asked me if I've ever been sectioned, and I said, well, I'm sorry, joy, offends you.
Well, you know the expression dance like nobody's watching, sing like nobody's listening. So I'm going to go back over your questions now. And anyone who's been answering these too, I can do it for you too. So the thing you love the most, you said dancing, nature, you also photographs, of course, and escaping. So self-expression, dancing, taking photos, being in nature, this gives you immense joy. So you're very lucky that the stuff that gives you joy is pretty free. And you need to pursue that as much as you can. You need to pursue what sparks you, what gives you joy, what makes your heart sing. In life, we need three things. It's a pyramid. We need a relationship that's amazing, a career that's fulfilling, and something just for us. And that could be anything from keeping bees to collecting stamps to doing ballet to taking photos to being in nature. The thing that you would do if you had all the money in the world, you could still do some of that. You could possibly join a body of other people that are creating that. You could find someone and see if your images could help them with that. The thing you would do if you only had a year to live, travel and culture, it's very important that you do that. And luckily, because you take pictures for a living, you might find you can even get paid to do that, or do an exchange where you go to some event and take photos and they give you board and lodgings. Loving to change the mental health. We are definitely speaking my language there. And that's what our TT is all about, realizing that, in every healing profession says, bring me your pain and I'll make you better. A doctor, a dentist, a chiropractor says, bring me your pain and I'm going to fix you on day one. I'm going to manipulate your back, fill your tooth, sort out your leg. Therapy says, bring me your pain and we'll discuss it for many, many, many years and you may or may not get better. And I always thought that's wrong. Therapy should be the same as every healing method. Bring me your pain and in day one, I'm going to make sure you leave it today with no pain or less pain. I'm going to get you out of pain as fast as I can. So I created a TT. Maybe you can come and do some stuff with us because we're always looking for people that can help us. And we use it, great photographers, but there's always an opening for someone else. And then walking, you're very lucky in a way, because some people say, what gives me joy would be to train to be a brain surgeon, but I want to be a lawyer in court and I'm already 58 and that's never going to happen. But your joy is walking, being in nature, having your camera with you and taking pictures. And maybe your joy would be to create. I often look at a picture of me when I was a little girl. I have it on my dress and I've got the fattest legs. I had triple knees, which is hard to imagine because now I've got such thin legs. But I look at that little girl. I was like a dice. I was solid. I don't know how big my waist was, but I was a little square thing with these huge legs, very sturdy. And I look at her and think, look at what you became. And I'd love you to create a collage. Mm-hmm. The baby, the little 1-year-old right up to today, and look how far you've come. And again, go back and do what our last person did and say, you're an amazing girl. You're here and I'm becoming a loving parent. So let's do that now very quickly, just for everyone else that's on the call. Close your eyes. Imagine you can go back and find that little 10-year-old baby who's in hospital, who's so terrified that she's even learned to hold her own breath and to go purple out of fear. And I want you to say out loud, even if it sounds silly, I want you to say, I'm becoming a loving parent to you now.
I'm
say that.
a loving parent to you now.
No one in the whole world
No one in the whole world
play this role of loving parent to you
will play this role of loving parent to you
like I can.
like I can.
I will always have time for you.
I will always have time for you.
I'll always listen to you.
I will always listen to you.
You and I have balance now.
You and I have balance now.
There's nothing we can't do.
There's nothing we can't do.
You live inside of me.
You live inside of me.
I'm upgrading you into my world.
I'm upgrading you into my world.
This is a nicer,
This is a nicer,
better,
better,
safer place.
safer place.
Now that you live in me,
Now that you live in me.
now I've created a place in my heart,
Now I've created a
Now
place in my heart,
in my life, and in my body for you.
in my life and in my body for you.
You can never be given away.
You can never be given away.
You can never be separated from me.
You can never be separated from me.
You're a part of me,
You're a part of me,
and I'm a part of you.
and I'm a part of you.
And I'm becoming the loving parent to you now.
And I'm becoming the loving parent to you now.
And every day I fill you up
And every day I fill you up
with the words you need.
with the words you need.
Every day I tell you, you matter.
Every day I tell you you matter.
You're lovable.
You're lovable.
You're talented.
You're talented,
Gifted.
gifted,
You're worthy.
worthy,
You're safe with me.
and you're safe with me.
So just think of that little baby who was put in a home at just 10 days old, didn't know what was going on, and felt so insecure. And tell me, what else would that little baby need to hear to make her life change?
I've got you.
Yeah. I want you to say that I've got you.
I've got you.
You live in my world.
Live in my world.
This is a wonderful world.
This is a wonderful world.
Dance,
Dance,
walks in nature,
walks in nature,
travel,
travel,
self-expression,
expression,
taking amazing pictures.
taking amazing pictures.
I want you to show that little girl, that little baby who's so unsafe, how different your life is now. Just show her. Just show her that you don't live in that world of being handed over to a children's home. A mother who said, I can't cope, parents who wouldn't express anything. That isn't your life. It was your life, and that was sad and painful, but it's not your life now. Your life now is your life to upgrade and improve. Your life is a life of travel and nature and dancing and capturing things on film for prosperity and letting people love you. Because you'll never, ever again be that little baby. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't go back and be her. You could never go back. Life doesn't go backwards, it goes forwards. And for many people, the first bit can be absolutely horrific. But you're a survivor, you're strong. The universe that put you here gave you all these gifts, all these artistic talents, and it put you here to use them. And no matter how bad the first bit was, the rest of your life can be amazing. It can be phenomenal. It can be incredible. So what else would you like to tell that little girl before you come back into the room with us?
Just that I love her. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I want you to say, I love you so much.
I love you so much.
And you are so lovable.
And you are so lovable.
And all your life, you're going to find people who love you.
All your life, you're going to find people who love you.
Because you're lovable.
Because you're lovable.
And you'll always be lovable.
And you'll always be lovable.
Because that's who you are.
Because that's who you are.
So I want you to feel that little girl merging into you. I want you to imagine she's hovering a foot above your head and she is merging into you, taking residence in you, living in you. And once that little girl lives in you, you can never go back ever again, because life doesn't go backwards, it goes forwards. And again, you are also like an arrow. And the bow for you is a life of being insecure, not valued, not validated, not reminded of how wonderful you are. But you're not the bow, you're the arrow. And all the bow does is help you to move. So imagine you two are an arrow, and you're going so far away from that past, being in a children's home when you were 10 days old. You're being fired so far away from that. Arrows don't go backwards. They can't. They can only go forwards. Life goes forwards. Arrows go forward. And you're an arrow going so far forwards, and you can never go backwards. Life doesn't let you go backwards, but it'll propel you forwards into a life of love and self-expression and joy. And all you have to do every day is hold that little baby and keep reminding her you're amazing, you're lovable, you're worthy, you're an artistic, talented, beautiful person. And you're going to make your life full of beauty and talent and photography and dance, because you are free. So feeling amazing and feeling committed that you will indeed do this every day. Just tune into that little baby inside the inner child and say, you're safe. You live in my world, and my world is great. It's a world of cycling, dancing, taking pictures, escaping, going all over the world, eating beautiful food, meeting people, and letting them love me, because you're lovable. So feeling amazing, feeling worthy, letting all the past go, because it truly is the past. It's something you used to have, something you went through once upon a lifetime ago, and it simply cannot, will not, does not influence or affect you or even interest you ever again. In fact, the truth is it will never again, Jane, be appropriate or necessary or relevant or even interesting to focus on the past. You're way too busy making your future a masterpiece, making it phenomenal, connecting with people, loving yourself, letting them love you, loving what you see in your camera, loving dancing and moving. So feeling amazing, feeling wonderful, feeling free, and feeling the whole audience. You've got so much love for you. Just open your eyes. Just come back into the room. How do you feel?
I feel so calm, which is so unusual, because there's often been so much anxiety. You know, it's kind of like a swan on the surface appears serene, and underneath, you know, my feet. Yeah. So thank you.
The job now is to fill yourself up with the stuff you didn't get. Many of us say, I didn't get love, I didn't even get gifts, I didn't get hugged, I didn't get kissed, I didn't even get nice food, I didn't get nice clothes. You know, when I was a kid, I never got Barbies, and I wanted one so badly. I think I shoplifted one once because I wanted one so badly. Pretty sure I got caught and had to give it back. When I had a daughter, I bought her so many Barbies, because it's never too late ever to have the child think, you know, I could buy myself. But in fact, when I was moving to America, I had this amazing doll's house, and I put it up on a site, and someone said, oh, can I have it? And I said, it's for me. It's not for, she said, I never had a doll's house, but I've always wanted one. Because you were giving that one away, I thought, I'm going to get a doll's house at 52. And she loved this doll's house. And I loved the fact I gave it because I love it. 52, it's not for, it's for me. I've always wanted, I never had one. Finally going to have a doll's house. It's never too late to find people that love you, put their arms around you and tell you that you're worthy, but you have to be open to that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on and being brave and amazing.
Thank you.
Keep being calm and just let love find you. Move towards it. Remember, you're an arrow, you're not a bow. And if you want love, you just have to move towards it, because what you want already wants you. What you are moving towards will move towards you, a life of love and joy and success. And go on taking great pictures.
Thank you.
I wish you even more joy.
God bless you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. So we've run on a little over time, but I think it was very worth it. I haven't had a chance to read any of the comments, but I'm sure they're all lovely. So Ariel, would you send all the comments to me, because I so love to read them. But Amanda and Kirsten and Jane, you're getting so much support. I can see in the comments, people are rooting for you, sending you beautiful messages, telling you that you're lovely. So I really recommend the 3 ladies I just worked with, Amanda and Jane and Kirsten, that you go ahead and read these, because I think it will really help you.